hi there. I didn't see you. Hello and welcome back. Today we're going to continue with the build of my Jaymz Type TL Telecaster type guitar. Bought it for 124 Canadian online, 171 I think it was for being delivered to my door within 24 hours. So I'm okay with that. It's a fairly modular item, just plug and play. Everything was really good. Overall, there's a couple of little minor adjustments, but it's you're building a guitar. There's going to have to be minor adjustments. The one thing I just noticed was they almost had me install the pick guard with the neck pickup onto the body. But the one thing that they missed out on telling us through the whole book, because I've been through it front to back, and the one thing that they forgot to tell us is that, and this is strange because they provided us with the copper shielding tape, but they don't have it in the book of where you're supposed to do it. So I almost installed the pickguard pickup neck in the body, and guess what? We're going to want to do this first. So now, mind you, it's all modular, so we could have taken it apart when we finally figured out that, gee whiz, they never told us to do that. But I remembered. So that's what we're going to start with, is shielding the body. And then we will start carrying on with the install of the pickguard pickup, the bridge pickup, blah, 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 all that sort of stuff. So off to the bench. So in the previous video, what we did was we put our what we believe is going to be our final coat of polyurethane on the fretboard, installed the machine heads, which was a little interesting, but we finished off the body as much as we are going to bother with, and then we installed the pickup in the pick guard. So now what they wanted to just do next is to wire this, which is feeding the wires through and attaching the pick guard. But they forgot to tell us to shield the guitar. So that is what we're going to do this time. We're going to put all this aside, and the tape that they gave us was just a little extra wider than the cavity, which is good. Now what we're going to do is, because I have this pick guard, I'm going to set it up where it's going to end up being. And so what we want to do is make sure that we ground the back of we want to ground the complete cavity, but we also want to leave a little bit around the top of the hole on the surface, because we are also going to do the back of the pick guard and create a ground completely. So the first thing we're going to do is measure off the base, leave just about a little bit. You'll notice that there's just a little bit extra room on either side of the cavity there, and that will be so that we do the base, and then it's going to come up around a little bit of the edges, so that is going to create connectivity with the next piece of tape. But get our scissors and do a little test. And the test will be to make sure that the adhesive has connectivity to it, and that will be done by testing it on a test piece of wood and our continuity tester. So the first and usually most daunting thing is trying to get the this worked really easily, getting the tape off of the liner, which wasn't that hard on this stuff. This might be a lot of fun because the last time I did my other two guitars I used some aluminum tape and it was very, very hard to get off of the liner. Not unlike this piece. Maybe I just had one piece that was, no, there we go. Woohoo! Hardly any swearing involved in this stuff at all. Okay, so now, drink. We make sure we have an overlap of the two pieces of tape. And then we take our continuity tester. And so we're going to use our tester here, put it onto the continuity setting, which looks like that. And when we get to that point, we take the two knobs, put them together, and we get a beep, which means we have continuity. So now we test it by putting one lead on this tape, one lead on that tape, and nothing. So then we're going to put the condom back on here. Make sure that we have rubbed this very closely together because it's very important that we get continuity between these two pieces of tape. And survey says yes. No. So what we're going to do is push our knob right through the tape where it goes over. Put a few little dents in it. We're not trying to put a hole in the tape, just we are getting continuity there, but not on the outsides. And we are touching, no we're not, because there's no tape on the outside of that side. Okay. Yeah. Now we're going to make sure the piece is wide enough that it goes about maybe 1/8 of an inch on either side of the gap. So we're going to take about the same amount here. Just going to put a slight little mark in there so I know where I got to cut it. Now that will be under the fretboard, so, or under the pick guard, so I'm not too worried about putting a little mark in there. Take the scissors and cut across. So with that, we peel the copper off of there, which is actually fairly simple to do because the copper tape really peels easily. And we will go to the base, cover the complete base, and what, as I said, we want to do is come up a little bit on each side. And in we go. Now what helps is the pencil with an eraser. Please excuse the wind tunnel. But we're going to go over this with the eraser to make sure that we have good solid contact with the base completely. Try not to rub it as much as just push straight down on it. so that you don't create holes in the tape. Does it feel like you're in an old horror movie? Let's hope it doesn't turn out that way. I'm going to roll the eraser along the edges to make contact with the walls. All the way around. Alright, I get it. Time for me to do this in the heat of the night, I guess. There, are you happy? Alright. So now we've got the bottom of the first cavity done. Oh no, where'd the tape go? Here it is. Alright. So with that, we're going to do this one. And how we're going to do this is get to the other end. I showed you this in my other video, but I'll show it to you here as well. Now this is just going to be wide enough at the widest point. And you know what? Other people have told me is that they had to route out one of these holes to make it big enough. And that's going to suck if we put all this tape in there first. But, oh well. So we're going to make sure that the tape covers the complete hole, and then we run our finger around the edge of the hole. And that creates a template of just how big the hole is on the tape. And you might not be able to see that, but there's an imprint the exact same size as the hole right beside it. Now what we do is cut a little bit bigger than that template, because we want it to try and come up the side walls a bit. It should cover the base completely and hopefully come up a little bit on the side. If it doesn't, well then we'll put another piece that's going to connect the two together. But the less pieces of tape you have, the better the chance of it being able to be continued. Continued? Yeah, that's a word. And to the base. Well, I was hoping for something a little better than that, but put it down with my finger first, and then go in with the pencil and make sure we have good solid attachment to the base of the cavity. And then we will roll along the edge to try to attach it to the wall of the cavity. And cavity number 2. Woohoo! Okay, now we will go along this base. once again, we have a base template that we can cut around. I should get myself some left-handed scissors someday. And there we have it. The base. Now with these long pieces, you have to watch when you peel it off that it doesn't coil up into a ball. So put your thumb on the tape that end and then just drop the rest of it. And roll it up like you would a rolling paper. And to the bottom. It's too quiet in here. I need some wind noise. What I need more is air. So let's try it again. That's a little better. Deal with it. I'll just talk over the wind. I'm sure you won't mind listening to me. Right? 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 Come on, guys. Right? Okay. Oh, drink. So now the 3 bases are done. So we're going to start working on walls. Yes, yes, yes. Where to put the tape? There. Now that is too narrow for that. But what I also need possibly is this cavity that goes from for the power jack, and it's about yay long. So we're going to go just a little bit more than that and see if there's any way that we can put this piece up in there, and I might have an idea. And it is the pencil. I've attached it to the side of the pencil, and I'm going to bend it this way to make a little bit of a curvature, then gently put it in there. It is long enough, and then slowly attach it to the wall. If I do this properly, and I look at it before I do anything stupid. You might not be able to see that, but it is attached to the wall all the way through and attaches to the other side. So now let's cut the other piece. Might need 3 to do all around this thing. I think I'm a genius. I really do. I think I'm a genius. I will say this here copper tape peels a lot easier. It's a lot easier to work with than the aluminum tape. I just hope I can get enough of a continuity between the pieces. Leo, you're my new friend. One more piece. F and A, Bubba. You might not be able to see it very well, but we have got that tubular spot right through to the inner cavity. Now to do the walls. Okay, we've got all kinds of tape, so we're just going to use her like there's no tomorrow. So you want to make sure that you get just a little bit on the top surface of the guitar, because it is going to make contact with the back of the control plate. But you don't want to come up too far, because you're going to have to, you don't want it to stick out at the corners either. And I just found out the hard way that you have to be careful. So, down the wall. And across the bottom. And a little bit on top. And then down. Make sure we get contact right up this side. Way too much. And then we make a hole. Then we make a hole. Holes down in the end to go to the power jack. Hole in the top to go up to the bridge pickup. And then we take the control panel and retest it. To make sure that every thing fits in there okay. These can just go through here just because we need room for them to go somewhere. These can just fold back because they just need to go somewhere. We will need to make the little holes in there. That fits there, that fits there. We can see the tape just a little bit here. So all we have to do is cut way inside the lines while still leaving enough surface recheck this. I know these don't go this way, but they just fit in there far enough that we can see where this plants. And we cannot see the shielding. That is what we wanted. Okay, so let's put the controls aside in a safe spot and continue on with shielding these last two holes. And I'm going to put you on pause. Oops! Technical difficulties. Please stand by. So, welcome back. We just experienced some technical difficulties, and this is where we're going to end this episode. So, just to basically summarize, what we ended up doing was shielding the cavities in the guitar, getting ready for installation. So, the camera popped out on me, blah, blah, blah. Long story short. So, at this point, we have finished the shielding of the guitar, and we are going to start with assembly in the next episode. So thank you very much for watching. Please share, like, subscribe, leave a comment below, tell me what I did right, what I did wrong. I know I do things wrong. I'm not a luthier. I'm just an old guy with too much time on his hands. So thanks for watching. We'll catch up with you next time. Bye now.